Good morning, and welcome to the Growth and Thriving Morning Mindset. I'm your host, Dr. Jerry Sunshine Novak, the biker psychologist. Today, I want to talk to you about 3 strategies that high level decision makers use for making better decisions. So, whether we're talking about people like Kobe Bryant on the basketball court or Lionel Messi on the soccer pitch, having to make split second decisions on where to pass or where to be in order to help a teammate or how to strategize in the game, or whether we're talking about high level executives, Richard Branson types or Jeff Bezos, who have to, throughout the course of a day, make several multi-million dollar or even billion-dollar decisions, and can't afford to have too many of those go awry. So, what high level decision makers know, and what research supports, is that there is such a thing as decision fatigue, meaning once we've made X number of decisions, we start to sort of tire out. Our decision making mechanisms get fatigued, and our ability to make good decisions diminishes. So, research specifically done on judges and how they hand out sentencing in certain cases has demonstrated that judges let's say this, they go through a better decision making process, a more thorough decision making process, and weigh different factors and variables and consider options and things of that sort when they are fresh. After they've made a handful of decisions, they are less thorough in this process, and as a result, have compromised decision making skills. So, you have seen this in your own life. If you've ever come home from work and you and your partner or spouse are trying to decide where to go for dinner, it seems almost impossible. All week long, for months and months, you can drive by restaurants in your town and say to each other, "Ooh, we got to try that place. Oh, that place looks great," right? You keep finding things. Oh, you got to make a list of places we want to try. But on a random Wednesday night, you come home from work and say, let's go out to dinner tonight. Where would you like to go? And nobody can figure, I don't know, where do you want to go? I don't know. What are you in the mood for? I don't know. Right? Everybody's exhausted and fatigued. So, understanding that decision fatigue is a real thing and that it impacts our ability to decide, high level decision makers intentionally practice 3 strategies to keep their decision making sharp. The first strategy is delegation. Many decisions in the course of a day can be delegated to other people. Now, of course, to delegate a decision, you have to have the authority to delegate, and you have to have people working for you, or people who are subordinate to you in some sort of organization where if you delegate to them, they are required to do what you've delegated. In your family, that can be your kids, but in some cases, it can be that a decision doesn't even need to be made at all, and if you can eliminate that decision, there will be less decision fatigue. However, when the decision is appropriate to delegate, meaning it does not require you or someone of your level, whether that's your level in an organization or your level at work or your level in your household, to make the decision, you can funnel it down the chain. And that's actually often a win-win circumstance because it allows a subordinate or somebody beneath you, one of your kids maybe, to start making decisions that are higher level for them. It helps them sort of hone their decision making abilities. It gives them a stretch, if you will, on their capacity while alleviating a decision off your plate, which will leave you fresher for future decision or a bigger decision. So delegation is the first tactic. And these are not, again, I want to be very clear that this is not, the biker psychologist saying, well, here's what I've noticed. Literally, if you read interviews or talk to high level decision makers, they will tell you that they very intentionally do these things, like delegate decisions that they themselves don't have to make. That's number one. And this is what keeps them high-level decision makers. Strategy number two is you schedule your day so that you are making your biggest, most important decisions after a break. So high-level executives will make their biggest decisions first thing in the morning when they get into the office, or right after lunch when they're coming back from an hour-long break and their brain has had a chance to rest, or after, say, a 20 or 30-minute mid-afternoon break where they're coming back refreshed. This was actually one of the results from the research that was done with judges handing out sentences for crimes. They found that they would hand out the sentences in the biggest, most complicated cases first thing in the morning, after a lunch break, or after a mid-afternoon break. And they started doing this as a result of that research because they found that their decision-making was sharper. If you follow other coaches or productivity experts like Craig Ballantyne as an example, he talks about your magic time being where you get the most time, the most effective work done on your business. And he recommends that for most people, of course, there are some folks maybe who function better in the evening, but generally, according to Craig Ballantyne, most people function best first thing in the morning. So you get up at 4:30 or 5 in the morning, you wash your face, you brush your teeth, and then you go down to your home office and you knock out the most important projects or aspects or work that needs to be done for your business, because you've suffered no decision fatigue yet. So that's number one, is delegation. Number two is to specifically structure your day so that the biggest, most important, or most difficult decisions come right after a break when your brain is refreshed. Last but not least is a method for alleviating or getting rid of unnecessary decisions. And when you talk to high-level performers, they will tell you that, for example, this is very common with presidents of the United States. They have 2, maybe 3 different suits. They wear the same thing every day, right? There are executives or business leaders who have 3 suits. 2 that they alternate for days of the week, and then 1 that's an occasion suit. So if they're getting an award, or if they're public speaking or something, that's their occasion suit. But they never have to figure out what to wear. It's one less set of decisions. It's not even one decision. It's, which suit, which shirt goes with the suit, which tie goes with that. So it's a set of decisions. And there's one less. High-level decision makers, whether they're athletes or coaches or executives, will tell you that they eat the same things every day. They have the same breakfast, the same lunch, and essentially the same dinner. Occasionally, they might go out for a meal, in which case they could deviate a little bit, but generally speaking, they eat the same things for each meal each day. That way, they don't need to decide what they're having for breakfast, lunch, or dinner. They don't have to think about what sounds good. They don't have to worry about their nutrition. It's all dialed in by just replicating. And so there are other areas in which they will remove decisions from their day as well. For example, the same meetings scheduled on the same days each week, taking similar routes when they drive places. These are some of the reasons, for example, why athletes are so prone to quote, what's the word I'm looking for? Superstition, right? Superstition before the game. They wear the same socks or they wear the same underwear for each game. And it was thought that, back before this research was done and back before we had language like decision fatigue, athletes would say they wear the same underwear, the same shirt, or the same wear because it was good luck. But what seems more accurate is that it's just a one less decision they need to make. They wear the same thing for game day every day. Musicians wear the same thing for performance each time. And very often, on the day of a big game or the day of a performance or the day of a big meeting, a high-level decision maker will have nothing else planned early. They may sleep in a little bit, or if they get up at their regular time, they may go for a walk, meditate, maybe get a little workout in, but they don't have a day full of decision making before taking the field or getting on stage or hitting the boardroom. So if you find that you struggle with big decisions, and that you regularly have big decisions to make in your life, and you want to do a better job of making those decisions, try to manage decision fatigue. And these are the 3 methods for doing so. Delegate what you can. Avoid making decisions if you don't have to, by wearing the same things or eating the same things, by creating routine where you don't have to make decisions. And schedule your biggest decisions for right after a break so that your brain is refreshed. Let me know how you make out with these strategies. Let's see if it affects the decision making you have to deal with in your life. Until next time, I'm Dr. Jerry Sunshine Novak, the biker psychologist, saying keep growing until you're thriving. Take care, everybody.